Hey there, this is Jen T. Grace, founder and CEO of Publisher Purpose, and I am here for a book launch interview with Michael Gunther. Hey, Michael, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jen. How are you doing?
I am excited. Number one, I'm excited that we're obviously coordinated, not just our outfits with our shirts, but also how our bookcases are merging together as one.
What they are. It's like and we didn't even talk to each other before. So
Nope,
yeah.
nope. Here we are, which is pretty funny. But I'm excited because I love launch day because it's the day that we can just kind of like take a beat and just take a breath back of like, okay, after all of these years of all of this work, it's like you can finally celebrate, which is super exciting. So, what is your mood at the moment?
It's exciting, tired, but hopeful, and it just I don't know. I'm excited that I can't believe it's actually done. I keep telling myself it's actually in print. It's actually being sold. I can't believe it.
Isn't that wild? Like I think back to when we first had a conversation about your book, and it was sometime probably in 2018 if I'm not mistaken. It had
Mhm.
to be sometime at that point. So but in the grand scheme of things, that's still only 4 years to go from where you were to now having it published. So there is that because some people
And
take
we
their
had 2 years of the pandemic in there too, so that's I always kind of throw that in, right?
yeah, definitely threw people off course for sure. But let's just start with kind of talking about the book itself and a little bit about what you do. So the book is called MeToWe. So can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Yeah, I have a business consulting firm, and for the last 25 plus years, we've worked with all kinds of businesses. And it's really about leaders not being about themselves and building a company and building their environment, but it's really about what it takes to create a team environment to really accelerate an organization and to create lasting success.
Mm.
In life, if you're all about me, you're not going to get very far. But if you're really about creating an environment and think about always in the we mindset, to me, you're going to create an amazing culture. And for you as a business owner and leader, create your vision that you've always wanted as well. So that's kind of where the me to we came from.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And so, like, what was I would love to know kind of the original spark, because obviously, you have a business, a successful business at that. Like, what was the original kind of spark to say, I need to package what we do into a book?
Well, it's kind of interesting. In 2013, I was burnt out. It was post recession, been working with a bunch of businesses growing, and it was almost like cobbler's kid didn't have shoes. Like we were building and growing everyone else's business. And I'm going, okay, I'm creating this success for everyone else. I'm struggling to create my own success. And I was just burnt out. And my husband and I decided to take an 8 week sabbatical off the grid, no
Nice.
emails, no phones, nothing. And I had every intent I was going to close my doors and do a new business. And so halfway through the trip, I started to realize, I kind of love what I do. I just
Mm,
kind of lost sight of what I was doing,
mm,
kind of lost our focus, our purpose, and was going in the wrong direction. So I decided when I got back from that trip to really evaluate why we've worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients.
yeah.
Why do some clients move forward and excel and continue to grow, and why do some clients don't?
Mm,
And so spent the next 3 years evaluating our own client base, past clients, current clients. We did some research. Harvard, Northwestern went researched all kinds of articles in different companies going, what are those elements that allow someone to really
mm,
have lasting success and grow? And so all of that then came, well, how do we put this and share idea, these concepts with other people? So it's through my own journey. And so the book kind of goes through my own journey, but at the same time, bringing in some practical ideas and solutions and real life examples of what people's own struggles have been and how they got through those to really build
yeah.
successful entities.
And so what is I guess the end impact that is the desire for you as the author for the reader?
At the end of the day, I've always wanted to be a teacher. And it's I always thought I was going to be a teacher and a forest ranger during the summer, and
Yeah.
that was going to be my ideal situation. And ironically, as a consultant in the work we do, I'm actually, it dawned on me like a decade ago, well, I actually am a teacher, just in a different
Mm,
setting.
right.
So my hope is, these business owners out there that they can be inspired, hopefully educate them,
Mm,
but that hopefully empower them to really have some breakthrough performance in their organization. I've had the privilege of working with these leaders that are trying to figure it out. They're hardworking. They're trying to figure out. They've hit these walls, and so my hope is always to really push them through that to that next level and have them reach their potential. And that's what the book is hopefully going to reach more of those individuals
mhm.
and allow them to push through their own obstacles, challenges, to create the business they want, the life they want
Yeah.
as well.
I feel like so often we are controlled by our businesses, right? So it
Yes.
sounds like there might be some advice on how to flip that dynamic where you are in control of your business.
Yeah, I often call it why the entrepreneur is killing your business, why being an entrepreneur is killing your business. And
Mm,
as a business owner, Jen, you're started it. It's your passion. It's your vision. Trying to delegate things out. No one's going to do it exactly the way you do it. People are going to make mistakes.
mhm,
But if you truly are trying to grow a thriving organization, you got to kind of shift being that entrepreneur to shift to being a leader of a thriving entity. And,
mm,
and, and there's a shift you have to make. You have to trust others, and you have to really build that team. And that's kind of that we environment,
mhm,
and it isn't about you anymore. As an entrepreneur, it's about you. You
mhm.
make the decisions, you set the direction. But if you really want to grow a business, you got to start shifting your focus. And where you start focusing on your team's needs and the organization needs, but the team is focused on those as well, not just you anymore. And so it is a shift that happens. It's a hard thing, though. It's a hard thing to let go for a lot of folks.
Mhm. Would you say that that's probably one of those, like, the big sticking point for people to, like, so you were saying before that you were asking yourself, like, why do some clients really succeed while others don't? Is that like a significant piece of that equation?
Yeah, during our research, one of the things we discovered, not it may not sound surprising now. It's kind of surprising to us. Everyone's always looking for that magic bullet. The light switch approach. Oh, I just need this, and it's going to work.
Mhm.
The number one attribute for organizations moving forward was the leader's willingness to realize they were the issue.
Mm,
That they needed to look at the way they were managing, the way they were leading, the way they were communicating, setting vision, holding people accountable.
mm,
That if they were blaming their employees, the marketplace, or competitors as to why their business isn't working,
yeah.
those folks tended not to scale. It
Mm,
was the individuals that truly were relentless learners. And they understood that, yeah, you might have competitive issues and marketplace issues and some
mhm,
challenges with employees, but at the same time, they're the leader. And so it starts at the top. And so it's a really interesting component that we've been able to define these leaders who are willing to understand. You got to let your ego go. You got to
mhm,
let go as an entrepreneur. You don't have all the answers, and
mhm,
to really shift.
yeah.
And that one element is for us one of the number one indicators whether someone is going to scale or not. Even in
Mhm,
our own consulting firm, people may not know this, but as people come and to us, we've worked with over 500 clients, but we're constantly evaluating them to say, are they going to be the right fit? Are they
mm,
really wanting to make change?
yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard about the book of the month club
Mhm,
management style,
yeah.
where the leader gets a new book, they read it. This is what we need to do. The next month they get a new book. This is what we need to do. I'm hoping my book will be more like, hey, this is something we need to do for sustainability and
Mhm.
not keep changing from methodology every time you read something new.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. It'll be great if people do use your book as, not a book of the month. We want it to just be, the book that is helping drive kind of that organizational change that they need to really kind of take it to the next level, like you were saying.
End of the day, business is about relationship. Life's about relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the leaders that get that there are people that are the opportunity for them to build their businesses. They don't see people as a burden. They don't see people as a challenge. Not that you don't have challenges sometimes with folks, but they understand that truly building strong relationships with their team, their management, their employees will lead to them building strong relationships with your customers, with your vendors, which allows you to grow.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I'm hoping, I've been doing consulting for 25 plus years, but I'm hoping some of these principles that are in the book, if individuals even took 2 or 3 of them and applied them consistently,
Yeah.
I think they can see some consistent shift in their organization and some shift within their team as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we're talking about like a number of different ways that, leaders are kind of struggling to get to that next step. Are there any other ways that you're kind of talking about in the book too that people might resonate with?
Yeah, there's so many different things from accountability. It's so funny. I always hear these folks like, yeah, my team doesn't get their things done, or no one holds anyone accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And yet all the surveys we've done and the research we've done is that top performers want to be held accountable.
Mm.
And you go, why is that? And they want to be held accountable because if the leader isn't holding people accountable to what they committed to, that individuals that are top performers are saying, hey, this poor performer is being treated exactly how I'm being treated. So why are we not why should I stay here? And leaders often fear holding people accountable, especially in this job market right now. People are going, gosh, I don't want to hold them accountable because I need them on my team and they may want to leave right now. Yeah. But the reality is, if a leader can learn how to hold people accountable, and really, what's accountability anyways? All you're doing is saying, hey, you committed to this. You're not achieving it. So I always say, is it a skill, process, or strategy preventing you from achieving that goal? So versus saying, hey, you didn't do it, you're in trouble. That's why most people don't want to hold people accountable, or they think accountability means you're going to be fired. Versus saying, hey, is it a skill issue why you can't achieve it? Is it a process, or is it your strategy?
Yeah.
And then based on that, let's have a conversation. You're still responsible for getting it done, but moving it forward. I think leaders make the mistake of taking the responsibility back on.
Yeah.
In accountability. Another thing I think, Jen, is problem solving. Part of the thought of a leader is your job is to teach people to be good problem solvers. You built your business by you being the problem solver. And so your job then has to shift to teach others to be good problem solvers, because otherwise you're the bottleneck. And if everyone's waiting on you to make decisions, and I have so many clients and past clients that felt so overwhelmed because people come to me for everything, and they've hired senior leaders who are coming to them for everything. And I'm going, well, it sounds like you're not letting them make decisions. You're not teaching them how to be good problem solvers. You're still trying to hang on to that. So that's another key element that leaders need to shift as well.
It's so good. I feel like there's so many. I can't wait to read your book in its entirety. Obviously, I've been involved in the process and seeing snippets here and there, but now that it's out, because I feel like there's just so much wisdom and value just from, like you were saying, your over 25 years of experience in helping support businesses in this type of capacity. Are there other ways in which you're hopeful that maybe people will engage with you? So maybe they'll read the book. Is there some next step that you're hoping that they'll take?
Yeah, I'm hoping they read the book. I'm also hoping go to our website at collaboration-llc.com. And on our website, we have a resource center. It's free. There are white papers, there are webinars, there's blogs, all dealing with business issues. There's interviews with the different business leaders and some of their struggles and challenges that I think we can all learn from.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage them to do that. I also think if they're struggling to try to figure out how to really excel their business or grow their business and just want to have a conversation to see whether we're the right fit for them or there might be another resource they need, I'd be happy to have those conversations. I have an amazing team of folks on my team here at Collaboration. I feel very fortunate. Um, and that team, we're really committed to watching people succeed. We have these four values of we're relentless learners, we're creatively disciplined, we want to be outcome focused. So everything we do with our clients, we measure, and then we also want to be relationship centered. And so part of that, sometimes we have a lot of people call us, and maybe they're not the right fit for us, but we can then refer them to, hey, this is what you really need.
Yeah.
So go here. So we want to be a resource for folks. We're very relationship centered that way. We get a lot of folks who are able to send out to other resources that maybe they're not the right fit for us.
Yeah.
But if someone's truly wanting to grow their business, they're frustrated because they feel like they're maybe spinning their wheels, can't just maybe get to that next level, we'd love to have a chat with them.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And I can personally attest to your resource center because at some point, I don't know when, but at some point while we've been working together, I remember deep diving into it because you had mentioned it on one of our calls. And I was like, oh, let me check this out. And I feel like it's just a good thing to model for other people to consider because it's so comprehensive. And I feel like that is such a beautiful thing because you're not talking about like just a blog, right? Like this is like a resource center, not just here's a couple of blogs of information.
Right. Yeah, we're always trying to add to it. We got to stay relevant, right? Because things change. We're in a crazy time right now, as you know, in business. So,
yep. Yep. So, is there, or are there any things that that we should be talking about for someone who's kind of on the fence of whether or not this book might be for them?
At the end of the day, if you're struggling or you're even curious about why your business isn't expanding or growing, or why you as a leader, maybe you've been trying different things. Most leaders I know are always getting books or going to seminars, but they still can't seem to implement the changes.
Yeah.
I think the book talks about implementation. I think that's one of the things our firm is known for. We don't just come in and say, hey, this is what you need to do. We actually help with implementation. And in the book, I've attempted to put some implementation strategies that they can apply. There's checklists and surveys they can be doing with their team. There's exercises in there to help them actually implement the concept. And part of life, so often we hear it, we get excited about it, but it's that implementation that prevents us from really moving forward. And so we took that same concept that we work in every day in our consulting and put that into the book. As well, to give strategies. The reality is, if someone picks up the book and they improve their business and their life from it, then the teacher I always wanted to be just had an impact on more people than I can physically have. So.
Yeah. I always love when I work with someone where that's kind of the center focus is if this book can impact just one person, I feel like it was a success versus the person whose goal is that I have to sell 1 million copies. I feel like those are very different ways of kind of approaching this entire process. So I love that you just said that.
Well, it's so funny, this whole book writing process is very intriguing to me because I've been doing it. I wrote 11 years. I wrote articles in some local newspapers. I've had a journal since Mrs. Olivier's 6th grade class.
Wow.
Mrs. Olivier had a journal we had to do, and ever since then I've kept a journal.
Jeez.
And so the book process has been a really intriguing journey because it's great to have all these ideas, but then they have to really vet them out and then make sure it's all connected and there's purpose to it. And then it's kind of like an artist. My friend Lynn, I know I was talking to her. She was one of my editors initially of my book. And I told her I felt like an artist. She didn't want to show my work to anybody because it's like so personal. And then is anyone going to get any value out of it? And I know I was through that process. I had some other friends read the book, all business leaders, and I said, be harsh, and they all started saying, I think you have something here. And that kind of encouraged me to finish it and get it to the next journey in the process as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, it is art, right? Like and it's vulnerable because for so long in this process you're the only one who's seen what you're writing and you don't really have any validation of is what I'm writing any good? Right? I think
right.
we all struggle with that. Even you can be the most skilled consultant for 25 plus years and yet there's still that nugget of doubt for whatever
Hey,
reason.
we're all human, right? And it's that imposter syndrome, like
Sure is.
that sometimes creeps into our mind. And I
Mhm.
think like people, I think who know me, who read the book, will be surprised that I was struggling so much in my own journey as a business owner.
Mhm.
And I kind of start the first chapter talking about my own journey because I think it's important. I don't want to come off like, hey, I have all the answers,
Mhm.
but hey, I have gone through this process myself as a business owner,
Yeah.
and that it is a journey that we go through.
Mhm.
And I think even some folks who I know in our community here who heard that I was thinking of closing my business, they were going, "What? Gosh, you've done all this great work." And yet at the same time, I wasn't achieving my goals or I didn't feel successful through that
Mm.
process. And so I think the book allowed me to maybe express some of that and be vulnerable with that, but also then share other people's journeys and successes on getting through that.
Hmm. Yeah, I say this all the time, but the reader experience is intimate. It's one to one. Like you might be thinking like, okay, this book is selling to however many thousands, but it's still one person reading it at a time. And so being vulnerable and being authentic in who you are is such a benefit because then the reader can really feel the essence of who you are and how your intention for showing up is.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's interesting too, the whole journey of I know we were talking right before we went live, and we were talking about, I think, the patience and persistence
Yeah.
it takes. There's been many times the book was just sitting there, and I know I had to read through it one more time, but it's that patience and persistence that
Mhm.
I'm really proud of. And I
Yeah.
can tell you a week ago Friday when we were at home, the doorbell rang, and it was like 5:30 at night, and Steve opened the door, and there's a box that looked like a book. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think that is my book, and I still get chills. And opening it up and seeing it and physically being able to touch it, I
Yes.
felt so proud of the journey. And there's been many times I was wondering, is this even worth going through, and doing? But now that I've done it, I was just really proud of that
Mhm.
emotional journey I was able to go on with that. And the excitement of that it's done and I could actually
Mhm.
share this with others. And
Yeah.
I'm still feeling it, the joy of that whole process.
Yeah, you should. There's nothing to me more exciting than the day that the book arrives for the first time. Like there's
Oh my
just
gosh, Jen. Yeah.
magical about that you can just always like think back to. Like I think of like my own books arriving, but I've said this before, and I don't think I've said it to you, but like for me, my metric of knowing when I need to get rid of PYP, right? Like so. At some point in the future, if I were to sell it, I would know exactly when that date would be, and it would be when I don't get excited when someone's book arrives in the mail to me because
Yeah.
our process is that we ship you a few books, you sign them, we ship them to come back to us, and then I get it and I get just as excited about holding your book as I do my own book. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that to me is the metric, because if I lose that passion for just the excitement of a book every single time it comes out, then I'm like, I'm obviously not in the right business anymore. So
No, I get that. If I, like I love what I do.
yeah.
Like I feel not that I don't have my ups and downs with it. And some
Yeah.
days I'm ready to go another 8 week sabbatical. But
Mhm.
at the heart of it, I'm so glad I did not close my business.
Yeah.
After that sabbatical because I think that journey of getting clear on my purpose and what matters, and and I realize what matters is really impacting people's lives. That's the only thing all of us can do, really. And I don't care what role and what organization
Yep.
we interact with people every day, and are you impacting people's lives?
Mhm.
And so I feel fortunate that I get to do that every day. And now I have this book that I'm hoping can impact other people's lives as
Yeah, that's
well.
the beautiful thing is that, because in so many ways, as a publisher, or in your case as a consultant, there's ways in which we're not accessible to everybody. But a book can be accessible to pretty much anybody. And I think that's the beautiful thing about books, is that you can really impact a lot of people without it being a significant investment for anybody to take advantage of.
You bet. Yeah. It's interesting too. I think the process, Jen, I was looking at, do I self-publish? What do I do with this? And I can tell you, the publishing process itself is more involved than I've ever thought it would be involved. Just never doing it before. So I think part of that patience and persistence this last year was really playing into there. I got to keep doing. But the number of edits, and there's the story edit, then there's the grammatical
Yeah.
edits, then all the footnote edits, and
Yeah.
but then all the design components, and there's so much that goes into that. And I know you and your team were phenomenal for us in that process.
Thank you.
I know I couldn't get where I am today and have that published and have the quality of product today
Mm.
without your guys' help. And I really valued that relationship, because I was evaluating publishing it myself, going, okay, I don't do this for a living. Why would I want to go ahead and try to do this? And it just, to me, it's that it's kind of why people hire us or hire you, is
Yeah.
because you have an expertise that can help them
Mhm.
get there quicker, really.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I had to give you kudos to you and your team for all the work you did, helping me get to this finish line too.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things that it's like it's obviously my business, but it is an entire business to learn when you're trying to publish a book. And so, but the thing is that people don't know that until they have the hindsight of like, oh wow, this was a really intense process. There's a lot of
No,
steps. Like you don't know that when you start.
no. Well, I started realizing when I was just looking at all the lists of detailed things I need to get done to get it published. Right? Okay, this isn't me. I'm not going to be able to do this.
Yeah. Well, good thing you had an awesome team to work with too. That certainly helped. I feel like our teams were very collaborative in getting all of the things done
Yeah,
and accomplished as they needed to be done.
yeah, I agree with that too,
Yeah.
Jen. Definitely.
Oh, this is so good. So your book is available where anyone wants to purchase a book. They're welcome to go and get it. Your website is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, so it's collaboration-llc.com. As we mentioned, you have your content library, your learning center on the website, your resource center for people to take advantage of. So, is there any other way that you would wish people to contact you before we depart?
I'm on LinkedIn as well if they want to get connected that way. The website's always easy. Again, if anyone's out there struggling or having some questions, we'd always be happy to be a resource for them. Because if everybody helps everybody, I think we have a stronger business community, which helps all of us in our communities as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate your just generosity and saying like, "Hey, reach out." It's good. We're definitely collaborating to impact as many people as possible, which is
Yes.
exciting.
Well,
So
thank
good.
you.
Well, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today to talk about your book and all of the goodness. We have a number of people in the comments. We have Midge and Olga and Terry saying congratulations and hearts and happy faces. So there's some excited people that you've got this done.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Jen, and thank you for the folks with the comments. So I appreciate that. And uh, uh, if you're interested in going on your own journey of writing a book, just do it. But be patient and persistent, and hire someone like Jen and her firm.
Thank you. This is not a paid endorsement. I need to have like
No, it is not. I want to give back to them for the work they helped us with.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, I so appreciate that. This has been fantastic. I will see those watching at some point soon. I will talk to you very soon.